right, it's day 2 of Giant Bomb's Game of the Year 2017 Deliberation Podcast Fest. What's going on over there?
Me? No, these new...
Stay in limber.
Fresh new day.
Yeah, that's right.
That's definitely how this is working.
It's so early. I feel like I haven't seen you guys in 12 hours.
I'm gonna crack morning
this
air.
breakfast drink.
We all
Yeah.
slept under our desks. We're wearing the same clothes as
Can
yesterday.
you tell I'm wearing different clothes today?
Yes.
With you always.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we're going to run through 4 more categories today
Great.
and determine the winners and 2 runners up.
Won't leave this room until we're done.
That's right.
Definitely not.
Nope. Change to this desk. You
I
just
did bring a
can't see it.
wardrobe change for later, though.
We all did,
Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
The usual.
As usual, beware of spoilers. We might drop something. You never know. Maybe not today.
Probably.
At least something.
Yeah.
Definitely today. I think best.
If we're talking about some of
some of
these,
these categories will
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. We'll see.
a lot of ins and a lot of outs.
definitely every day. I'll say that.
Yeah. Always be aware
Yeah.
that something might get spoiled.
At any time.
Yeah.
That's how crazy it gets
We'll
here.
do our best to warn you, though.
Did you know that the guy in Metroid is a lady?
What?
What?
Yeah.
Man, I should have played that
Big Boss isn't Big Boss.
29 years ago.
What about the boss?
That's a different person.
Did you
She
know
is the boss.
The princess is in a different castle.
It's pronounced Aerith.
Whoa.
Alucard backwards is Castlevania.
That's just true.
It's a pronounced Castlevania.
This is math.
All right, here are the categories for day 2. Best multiplayer, hottest mess, best surprise, and best music. Shall we begin?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, best
I'm ready.
multiplayer.
I'm ready.
We always do best multiplayer.
Yeah, I think we started.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
we've gone back. We kind of got away from like genre awards.
I like where this
and
list
then-
is going. Now that I look at it, let's read this list.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, Splatoon 2, Destiny 2, Tekken 7, Injustice 2, Windjammers, Guilty Gear Xrd Rev 2, For Honor, Cuphead, Super Mario Odyssey, Nidhogg 2, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands, Gang Beasts, and Knack 2.
What's the multiplayer in Knack 2? I don't know.
Co-op.
I did not
Co-op.
play. I did not play.
It does have
Knacks.
And it's actually pretty good because there's like a button you can use to warp to the player who's ahead of you. So like if you get stuck behind a platforming puzzle and you're like, you're playing with your kid or something and your kid can't make it, they can just warp inside of you.
It's very useful and also a good way to troll the other player if you make them fall to their death when they warp to you.
That immediately sounds better than the co-op in Knack 1, where the camera basically never left the player 1, and player 2 was just left to fend for itself,
Just
like
bonus
constantly.
Knack.
Yeah.
I had a
my-
great time playing Knack with Brad.
Knack, we should play the rest of Knack.
Yeah.
That was okay. My favorite detail is the second Knack. Knack TOO is blue, and in cutscenes they merge together.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like all the pieces of blue Knack merge into the red Knack, and you
You
can
have
see
to render one of them.
right. But he does look different.
That's great.
Is there any
Yeah, it's
discernible personality difference between them? Like, is
No.
one the angel, one
They
the
have a
devil?
conflict every time.
One a mug,
yeah.
one a cup.
It's like
Yeah.
a Paragon
Yeah.
Renegade kind of situation.
Okay.
I like to throw the dice.
we should probably cut Knack too.
Yeah. But hey, good for them actually like making that co-op better.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to make a real
So
argument.
the only one on here that I can straight up say does not belong is Super Mario Odyssey because the multiplayer in that game is not good.
I don't like that. I know
Yeah.
some people
Yeah.
do. Benny liked it.
I don't
I've
like
heard
it.
from others that liked it. I didn't like it.
I mean,
at
I
all.
like playing with my kid.
Yeah.
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 Is it really good for that?
It's like as long as you have say please never touch the camera control.
Okay, cool.
And also, you can't let the hat just hang out, and the player can let the hat hang out indefinitely, spinning in a circle.
What does player 2 do?
Controls Cappy?
Like how though?
moves
I mean,
the hat around the screen.
is
You
the
can-
hat always like separate, detached from
So
Mario?
actually, it does become separate.
hovers,
Yeah, hovers
right?
over Mario's head, and then player 2 basically can fling the cap wherever they want.
Oh wow.
Even when you've possessed another character.
Huh.
So like when it's another character, you can fling the hat off and still possess that character. So it becomes weird and interesting in ways.
I mean, if you want to keep it on here.
But I have a very specific use
Well,
case
that's
for it,
kind of what I
sure.
mean, though. Like, most of us are not in the position to appreciate it that way.
Yeah,
So-
and I would say mostly combined with the assist mode, it was a good combination
Yeah.
that made it very fun. But I think there's other stuff on here
Okay.
that will,
Yeah, I
will
don't.
be
right.
better multiplayer.
Like what?
I think PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is a fantastic multiplayer experience.
I've heard that.
That has a
Yeah.
lot of. I
Post
had a lot
next
of fun
to
with
that.
Oh,
this
okay.
year. I think Destiny 2 is a pretty good multiplayer experience that
Uh-huh.
I had a lot of fun with so far this year. I think.
Is it too predictable to leave on here? Is that
Wait,
What?
I mean, like, we knew
so-
exactly what the multiplayer was going to be in that game.
I didn't play
It's
Destiny
the
1.
exact same thing as Destiny 1. Like, that's one aspect of that game that's very, very familiar.
Well, that's a case.
But
Like, is
no, you're right,
it
cut it.
exactly the same? Did it improve anything?
Yeah, it improved a lot of
that's-
stuff. I mean,
Didn't it make
That's
Iron
worth
Banner
talking about.
worse?
Well, if we're gonna
It did, yes.
if we're gonna dock Destiny 2 for being exactly the same thing here, maybe we need to go back to that graphics category.
No.
Or like,
I'm
that
just
applies to other
joshing.
things. That applies to Splatoon, and I would say cut Splatoon because
Yeah,
it just,
that applies to all
absolutely
fighting
not.
games.
Splatoon is great. I'm talking about the implementation, like the no real voice
Oh,
chat
God, that's
option.
right, dude.
That type of stuff is what I'm talking
the-
about.
the
The
Yeah.
last thing I want to do is talk to another person who's playing Splatoon.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Yeah.
I don't really play Splatoon with other people. It's not that kind of game. The multiplayer game in Splatoon is so good. The
Yeah.
Salmon Run is some of my favorite multiplayer I've done.
Isn't there also
this
that
year.
matchmaking issue around you can't pick Salmon Run? Like, you just have to, like,
Yeah,
match.
it's at different times
You
or
have
whatever.
to-
Like, I think Splatoon 2 is an awesome game, but as far as like playing with friends or other
They
people,
really
the
bungled it.
multiplayer
Yeah.
component of it, of
There's-
trying to match up with people.
There's
is
another
weird.
element to this that is something I've only read sporadically, but like something about the way they have designed that mode, the peer-to-peer sort of like multiplayer system. Like, there are lag issues that
Yeah,
sort
it's
of make
the tick rate.
Yeah, so the tick rate is a little weird in that game. Yeah, it's. I mean, it's not like I played a ton of Splatoon 2, and I can't say that I noticed it that much. But considering the way they were pushing that game is like, hey, we want this to be this competitive thing that people
Yeah.
get really into. Some of the design choices they made, it seems like, were the wrong thing for that.
But yeah, I might
Is it not
argue.
going to be the next esport? What's
yeah,
going on?
but that's
Well, definitely
I mean,
not, but-
Honestly,
It was in the
like
commercial.
it not being the next esport makes me like it more. Sure. Yeah. I had a great time with Splatoon 2, even better than the time I had with Splatoon 1.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
me too.
I think it's the weapon changes they made. They have continued to work on that game, and they've added more and more stuff to it over time, and I think it's really good.
I'm not advocating for cutting it. I'm just saying that like there are things about that multiplayer that are not like flawless.
And I would say, like,
But-
the thing with Destiny 2 is I think the competitive multiplayer in Destiny 2 continues to be bad.
I
like
it.
the Crucible.
I like it.
I like the
Yeah, I
Crucible.
like it. I like the smaller scale.
Yeah, me too.
I know a lot of
I
people
prefer that.
seem to hate it, but
I just
I
think
like
Trials
it.
the 9.
I think the 4 on 4.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I think
Trials
it's
Nine is bad.
for me. It's the way the weapons get balanced in such a way that like any like equally skilled players who are 1-on-1 and not 2-on-1 or any of that other stuff both kill each other every time
yeah.
because it's just because the multiplayer is so focused on that team shooting
Yeah.
and focusing fire and that sort of stuff. I just like it's not at all what I'm looking for
Like
out of a
the-
competitive
The
multiplayer.
winning techniques you pick up playing Trials of the Nine with
Yeah.
people who are really good at it are
that.
like so counterintuitive. Like you start shooting corners as you approach corners because you might catch them with the first shot if they come around. Like just weird stuff like that.
Oh, gotcha.
Like
Yeah.
like you start
Yeah.
blind firing corners because
You see the radar and all that sort of stuff.
whoever gets the first hit is almost always going to win an encounter. Like it's kind of weird.
Like a sword.
And
Swords are okay.
other shooters are like that, but this
Yeah.
one just feels like it is like that and also slower in a way where it's like, man, a lot of these encounters still sure feel meaningless.
I like the pub Crucible, like the low stakes Crucible.
That's all I've played, really. 'Cause I don't really care
Yeah.
about Trials, but even
I don't have a
there,
problem
it's
with
just
that stuff.
yeah. I
The co-op in Destiny 2 is pretty fucking good.
Yeah, that's
really
the thing.
is.
I'm hesitant to harp too much on how bad because I don't even hate the Crucible. I'm just kind of indifferent to it. But like, I'm hesitant to harp on it because that game is so clearly designed as a cooperative experience. The competitive has always felt very much like an afterthought to me,
I think,
and the cooperative is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I didn't play much Destiny 1 at the time, so when I was playing Destiny 1, like Abby was the only one on there. Like we played some, it was
Yeah.
fine, but like Destiny 2, I had a lot of fun with, and it sounds like they streamlined a lot of stuff in terms of bouncing around with a party,
Yeah,
where you don't have
absolutely.
to like load out and load in.
they've made that stuff.
Also, like, so I don't know if this is considered too far afield of a like multiplayer category, but the changes to clan stuff are fan fucking.
I think that's
like
relevant.
doling out
Yeah.
rewards to people that you're in a clan with based on stuff
they've made it
they
a
do.
somewhat more social experience.
Yeah, like they really fixed up that aspect of the game.
Agreed.
The only thing I didn't like about Destiny 2, and again, this might just be a particular. Well, the one really glaring thing I didn't like was I wish if you had a party bigger than 4 players or 3 players, it lets you instance on the same planet at least, even not into a strike or something like that, but like instance on the same planet, so you could at least do public quests with people that are in your party. Because I would be on with
Can
like
you not?
no.
There was like weird things of like the person would you're with would pick one, but then nobody else gets the waypoint or something.
Well,
right?
you
Isn't that
just
what
it
you're
just
talking
wouldn't even
about?
let you land on the
Yeah.
planet. Like
Oh,
if you have a group
really?
bigger than 3 people, you could only go into.
So the raid is the only place you can take more than
Oh,
3
yeah,
people.
no,
that's-
you can
Or
go
the
into
Crucible.
Crucible.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, so
oh,
like-
right.
Oh, yeah,
you're
that
Crucible.
is
Sure,
right.
sure.
Yeah, so like
Crucible's 4. It's
Yeah.
not even 3.
It's
but not
4,
not
right?
not
Yeah.
planets.
So if
not
you have 4
patrol
people
zones?
in your party, it'll be like you got to dump somebody.
Yeah.
And
that sucks.
And it's like, listen, I'll wait till like 30 seconds for a free instance to come up that can support 4 people, but
Yeah.
like, don't make me dump.
oh, it's
somebody.
not always. It's like if
No,
there's too much
it is
server
always.
load.
No, it's
what?
always.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So like that stuff I thought was lame, and also sometimes joining up in a fire team when you're on Earth or the tower, you had to like bounce back up to orbit because it would say that instance was full.
Huh.
I don't think it's
That
always. I
stinks.
just think when the lobby
Yeah,
was
maybe it's
full.
when it's
Yeah.
But yeah, just the part where you can't do public quests with like more than that party. Because public quests I thought were really fun. Like they're totally enjoyable, and I would have done that with like my family. And we have 5 people that we were looking to get, so we always had to split up into uneven teams of like 3 and 2, which just kind of I thought was
Yeah.
a weird thing. Like it seemed arbitrary at the time. Other than that, I thought it was a lot of fun. Spent a lot of time in there. Also, congratulations, Gang Beasts!
Yeah,
on your
coming out and
PlayStation
making it.
on your PlayStation 4 release.
Yeah, and PC I think will hit around the same time too, because all the Steam updates are very much about like them doing final testing and all that other stuff.
It's too bad it's coming out so late. Like we haven't really had time to play the final version.
I mean, I've been checking in with that game here and there throughout the entire process, and the main thing is the multiplayer in that game has not drastically changed.
Right.
It is still just that kind of game. They've added more different types of maps and
They
stuff.
did
but
a pretty noticeable physics overhaul.
That was a while
Almost like
ago.
multiple updates over time. Yeah.
Most recently, they changed a lot about how like hits work. I played it at Day of the Devs.
Yeah.
They had like a tournament for it, and it felt the best it's ever felt. Like,
yeah.
I played some the other morning and played an online match and got in again with some other people and,
Oh, cool.
and it works.
yeah.
Talk to me about the online, like lobbies. Like what's going on with
It's
that?
Was it never had online
It's
before?
private match or not private match, and you go in and match up with other people. Like
Okay.
I don't know, private match you can probably invite your friends or whatever, but
That's what
yeah.
I'm guessing. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And that's how it is on PC. I'm sure PS4 is similar. There are modes will be in the final game that we have not seen. So I guess it will have some mode versus AI, like
Oh,
a
it will
co-op
have that?
mode versus AI, which is not in the current build.
Huh.
Do we care to keep it on here?
I don't know that I would keep it on here.
It's
I
not.
haven't played it at
This-
all.
I like Gang Beasts.
On this
Yeah.
list, this is my favorite like couch multiplayer, like local multiplayer
Right.
game.
Have
I'm
even
with
over
you.
like Cuphead? I love Cuphead couch multiplayer.
I just haven't
Such a
played
different-
enough of
such
it.
a different
I don't.
thing.
Yeah, I don't,
extremely different.
I don't know that. I don't know that I like.
It's
Cuphead
crazy because when we discovered Gang Beasts, it was like one of the coolest things I had ever seen, but that was so long ago.
Yeah.
Here's one I
I-
think we can cut for honor.
Yeah, that game's a lot better than I thought it would be, but
They keep improving it,
Yeah.
which is nice.
Is anybody
but-
still playing it?
I've checked back in on it a couple of
begrudgingly.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like they add a lot of stuff to it.
Yeah, and from what I gather, just on the on the Twitters, people still upset about balancing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
but they're working hard to improve a lot of stuff. But
If people are mad, that means they're doing something right.
Yeah.
probably.
That's the thing. I think For Honor's a neat thing. I think it's
Yeah.
better than we probably thought it would be, but I don't know if it's a top multiplayer game this year.
Yeah.
Sorry, Eric Pope.
It's all good.
Oh.
Yeah, he made it by himself.
Yeah,
I know.
Wildlands. I think that they've done really neat stuff to that game. With the PvP mode is way better than I ever thought it would be.
I never tried that.
Yeah, they added it relatively recently.
Okay. I just could. I've tried it. I tried it with my family, and I tried it with you guys during Extra Life stuff, and just I think it's not the goofy
No,
open
it's
world
not.
shooter stuff that
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want. It's not crashing helicopters and
Yeah,
like
not mercenaries.
It's not. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not mercenaries. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not Just Cause. It's
not that game, and I think I
Yeah.
want it to be.
Yes, that's
that
exactly what I wanted.
game. And it's like if you play like that, it kind of sucks.
Yep.
Like it's like you kind of go down too quickly.
they don't even
Yeah.
give you the tools to play.
Yeah.
like
it's
that,
1,000% not that. Game.
But it's not that game. So like,
But
I
it's
think
also
just-
not like a super serious tactical game
Oh
either.
no, it is not like
it
a
is.
original Rainbow Six.
Yeah,
but it's not the like, hey, don't worry, I'll jump out of my helicopter and
Right.
crash into the building.
It's still fun to play with other people because you do feel like you're just like rolling up on these encampments and just dominating them, like just really tearing them apart. Like it was fun to do alone in a different way. Because playing alone, you can just mark all the targets and make your AI guys do all the dirty work, which you just feel like just barely even a video game.
What are you
that's
even
how
doing?
That's how powerful I am. But yeah, when you're playing with other people and they're friends and you're communicating, That's a fun thing.
And they all have buy-in, I assume. They're all
Totally.
like,
Right. Yes. Because, and they've added other stuff that makes it worth sticking it out because they've added more like leveling up stuff and options along those lines. Like they've done a lot to that game since release.
I did like making my cool ass character.
Yeah, like character creator's pretty good. But this is not. It is not one of the top 3 multiplayer games of the year. Like I'm impressed with what they've done, but it is not that game.
I think Nidhogg 2 is good.
Oh, don't you dare! Yeah,
good.
it is
I'm not
good.
ready.
I'd say it's better.
Very
than
good.
I'd say it's maybe
very, very
fucking
good.
fantastic.
Exceptionally good.
Change enough on the
Yes.
gameplay.
Dude,
engine?
yeah.
The new weapon.
How much have you played of it?
Revolutionary.
I played stuff on video and everything, so like not a ton, but like an hour,
The
hour and a
weapons
half, maybe.
changed a lot.
Like the
Okay,
bows
all right.
and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
It really affects the balance quite a bit.
I think we should talk about the fighting games on this list.
I actually can't speak too much about the multiplayer in these. Yeah, I just this year in particular.
Let me head you off real fast. Like Guilty Gear is kind of.
This was the one I was going to champion.
Oh, okay. I thought so. It's not. It's
Here's
not
the
just
deal
the
with
same
Guilty
thing.
Gear: you can fish in the fucking lobbies.
So
there's like
yes.
lobbies that you can choose like an avatar. You can run around to like little tiny arcade cabinets and sit down next to them and challenge someone.
It feels like an arcade. Like
Yeah,
you
it's really
walk up and you can watch people fight. And
Also,
then you like
this is more than just. Is this a full? I'm just confused what the game is. Is it a full? It's not a full sequel, right?
no, it is an expansion. Well, you can buy it as a standalone thing. It's two new characters.
Is this like the move from regular Street Fighter to like a Super Street Fighter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So it is enough of a new game that
we should count it at all, or it's not
There's
just
like a
it's
new
not just
tutorial.
kind of the same thing.
There's new characters. I don't know. It's up to you guys on how you want to count it, but
it sounds like it's enough of a new game.
I think that that like room system, the lobby system, is the coolest
Yeah, that sounds super cool.
fighting game
implementation of like
like
online lobby
multiplayer
situations.
experience.
And they've done that with previous Guilty Gear games,
Yeah.
right? They've had lobby
Yes.
stuff like this before. And it seems like Dragon Ball is going to have a similar type deal.
Yeah.
I don't.
That
was
lobby's
weird.
crazy.
That was weird.
Yeah.
This lobby looks crazy. They're like all like little
And
square
then you
people.
fish, so you fish and you fish for like you get little parts to adorn your character with. Like you start out as kind
Cosmetics
of a
and
blank
titles,
slate.
yeah.
And then you also get like models for the model viewer, which we all love. I don't have to talk about how much we all like the model viewer.
But how is the multiplayer?
Yeah.
It's really good.
Good netcode.
That goes good.
It's like when you said that thing that other time, and now you're saying it again. It's like a funny reference.
I make jokes. It's a callback.
I hate jokes. Is the netcode on? I played some Tekken 7 online, and it seemed like it worked pretty well. I haven't played much of any Injustice Online because anytime I play any of those games online, I just get fucking destroyed.
There were issues with the PlayStation version of Tekken
Yeah.
when it released. They
corrected it.
Yeah.
Geese came out today.
Oh, really?
Well, no, I mean, by the time this is out,
By the time this is out, yeah.
Geese will have been out for a while.
Injustice, the netcode was mostly okay from when I played, but that game is really, really hard to jump into from a newcomer standpoint. So I don't think I want to nominate that guy.
Yeah, like they did some interesting clan stuff and all that, but I
that's
don't
true.
know that it. I don't think it's top 3.
Same. And I don't think Tekken does anything like, really, really cool like Guilty Gear does as far as like online lobbies.
I will say
So-
it's a really fucking good Tekken game.
No shit,
really is.
right?
I would much rather play that than Guilty Gear.
I'll say it's my favorite Tekken game.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I would probably agree with that.
It's
Yeah.
definitely
Because
way
there
up
are a
there
lot
for
of
me.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first 3 games made more of an impact just by
Sure.
virtue of
Yeah.
And like even Tag 1 in a way.
Yeah.
sure,
launch game, yeah.
But those games, I feel like 4 was rough. 5 was good.
okay.
Just
Kind of forgettable.
6
yeah.
was kind of...
Yeah, it's like 7 is a good.
it's like a
solid
good
second
return
game.
to
The
form.
changes they made, that's
And Tag 2
smart.
is really good too, but I mean, this is the first one that kind of, I think, really broke back into like the. There's a lot of people that bounce off of Street Fighter, I think. So
Yeah, I was going to say how much of that is because people are not happy with Street Fighter and they're
Right.
looking for something else. But
So yeah, it came at a good time. They made some really smart implementations. We talked about like slow mode The last hits, don't know who's going to win.
And that
last second.
Playing out there on the couch with like in Alaska, we had moments where it was last game and we both had a sliver of life and it did that slow down thing and we were both just like screaming on the couch about who was going to win.
That is the most fucking esports thing they could have added, and it's so fucking dope.
It just slows the whole match down at the end?
Yeah, well, like when you've already pressed the buttons, so it knows what's going to happen, but it slows it way down. And goes,
okay, so you're not putting any inputs in.
Yeah.
No,
that's
it's
really
just-
cool.
You can put the controller down and see.
Like it just adds so much hype to that last moment.
It's so fucking good.
Okay, that is very cool.
Oh, yeah.
That's very cinematic.
Like that's honestly part of the reason why maybe we want to keep it on here, because like that's just such a simple little thing that makes such a difference in how those matches are presented.
That's cool.
I like Tekken a lot.
Same.
Man,
It's really cool.
all right.
These are actually kind of tough because like a lot of these games are actually quite fun to play.
It's true.
All right, I
multiplayer.
feel like we haven't really talked about Cuphead multiplayer.
I think Cuphead multiplayer is not the necessarily. I mean, Mugman is fucking great.
He's a cool dude, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
It gets a bit chaotic.
I have played a lot of Cuphead multiplayer.
It made you better at single player.
It made me a lot better at single
I played
player.
it really for the first time last night with Vinny,
Yeah.
other than briefly on the quick look with Brad, and it was honestly a pretty cool
It's neat.
way to approach the game, because there were like moments where, especially in the flying levels, where I was on my last heart, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna fly lower because if I die, I want to be able to give time to my partner to come save me, and it kind of like and. You like when a person was drawing aggro, it left us opening for somebody else to shoot, and it was cool.
It does change. I mean, there's a lot of trade offs, right? So like the bosses definitely get either some more health or the stages take longer or whatever it is. But you also, a lot of bosses target you with their attacks. So when you're splitting that up, you have a bit of a free zone to go into. And then, the added thing of like trying to parry revive your partner who's gone down is like stressful in a weird way.
And you can like complement each other's weapons and stuff. Like,
yeah, but I don't know if it is like there is also an amazing single player experience there that like is it the best multiplayer? I don't know.
it feels like a really strong extension of a single player experience.
Yeah, like that game is equally as good, if not in some places maybe a little more interesting in single player. But the multiplayer is completely serviceable, and Mugman is
There's some
is
weird
better than
vibration glitches.
Yeah, but that happens on PC. I think that was because you were playing on a PC. That's happened to me before, where like the controller just infinitely vibrates.
Oh, yeah, we had that.
until you get hit.
I will say playing Cuphead multiplayer was some of the most fun
It's super
multiplayer
fun.
I've had this year. So I think on just like how much fun it is, there's definitely that. And like we had some really satisfying moments in that video we did where we were just like reviving each other back and forth.
That stuff is super fun.
It's so fun. It's so satisfying.
Yeah.
I can appreciate why it's more just like, well, the game is just good, so of course it's good to have two people playing it.
Yeah.
But
Like I don't think it's a unique
It's like saying
implementation
Contra
necessarily,
has some
but
of the best multiplayer.
yeah,
right.
but they do a good job with it.
yeah, it's very good.
It's very good. It's the parry stuff is good to revive.
Yeah.
That's an interesting way to do it.
Okay, we can assume PUBG is here to stay.
I think so.
Yeah, I don't think it's number one though. I have a lot of thoughts on it. I don't care
Let's
for PUBG.
cross that bridge when we come
Yeah,
to
we'll,
it.
we'll get there.
Are
yeah,
there-
I
are
think
there-
there's that game has had its ups and downs.
I just wanted to start eliminating
Yeah,
them, or like
yeah,
figure
sure.
out if there were any others that people are going to strongly rally around here.
I could see the case for getting rid of Exerd 2. It is an extension of the previous games in terms of what it brings to the table in multiplayer. It is just a very good version of it.
Yeah.
And, it good on Arxis for really fostering the online community for their game, because a lot of other companies kind of lack in that department when it comes to fighting games, unfortunately.
I guess I'm sorry. I was just going to say the main reason I asked that is I was getting the vibe that Nidhogg is also in that space.
I would keep
of,
Nidhogg.
of something people were going to go to the mat for.
I really do like Nidhogg.
I would fight for Nidhogg.
Have you guys had the experience when playing online where you're like stuck in a match for too long? Do you know what I mean? Where it's like nobody can win.
Like a stalemate.
No.
Yeah, basically.
I think
I've
the
heard
online
some
matches
folks
I think
have that
default
issue.
to a time limit.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I believe.
I've had
It's a
that
long time limit,
IRL.
though.
Right. Does it
Yeah.
ever feel like tiresome?
Those matches go. Yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely get to a point where you're like, man,
Right.
this is like getting more intense and crazy.
I feel like I like that. I love that. I thrive on that.
I like
shit.
that locally, but like when it's just some stranger that I'm
Right.
not invested in,
Like, who cares?
then it's just like,
I would actually extend that to say I don't want to play that online against strangers.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if that's a knock against that game in this category, but I only want to play it locally against people I know.
I feel like Nidhogg, for me at least, is a super fun game to play locally, and I like it. But it's like a party game in a lot of sense, where it's like, cool, let's play it for 15 minutes. This is a fun, silly game with like fun, silly art. And then I don't ever think about it again. I don't really have much attachment to it outside of like, this is sort of fun to play with some friends.
Oh, there's so much skill involved.
after they fixed some
It's
of
a
the
beautiful game.
that game launched with some issues around matchmaking that made it harder to get in the game than it needed to be. So after they fixed that stuff, I would load it up and play like 2 matches or one if they went really long. But it's really good to just have like installed on a PC because you just like I would just fire it up, play one match, and go like, all right, I'm good. And then the next night maybe do that again.
Alrighty.
For a little while. But you know, I agree. Like locally is where that game is at.
Yeah.
I haven't played a ton of Nidhogg 2.
We should play some Nidhogg 2.
I know, and I love Nidhogg 1,
Yeah.
but like what I've played of Nidhogg 2, like I miss the purity of like Nidhogg 1.
Oh, I like it better.
Here's
than
the great
Nidhogg
thing about Nidhogg 2. They let you toggle all those new weapons off, and then you can play it just like the first one.
Yeah, but I think I like the aesthetic, that like kind of Atari-esque.
Mm.
The art
love
style
that
won
they-
me over.
I like the
Yeah.
gross.
I like it.
Yes.
Yeah, I like it.
I think it's there's something like very pure about
Also,
just
like they made good on the other stages in Nidhogg 2 in a way that the first game doesn't.
That's
where, like,
good.
in the first
Yeah.
game, you're like,
Yeah.
we're playing this one
Yes.
stage because the rest are all
That's
bullshit.
good. Okay.
Like these, all the other stages, or most of the other stages, I think are really good.
Some of those stages look so good.
like I said, I haven't played too much of it. But I really like Nidhogg 1.
The way Abby feels about Nidhogg as a local game primarily, and just wanting to play that with friends as sort of like a fun goof. That's how I kind of feel about Gang Beasts. Like that is not
Yeah,
a game I want to play
I thought
against
you were
random
saying
people.
Windjammers.
I think
That too, probably.
I mean,
but
that too. I like that locally. I wouldn't play that online,
I think
especially considering it
like,
doesn't seem
like Gang Beasts needs that in the room reaction
Yeah.
of people
Right.
reacting to the ridiculous physics and shit.
But I don't think that should disqualify.
No,
No, I don't
definitely
think
should.
so.
because
No,
it
I
does
don't
that.
think so.
It's
Yeah.
and I'd say
it does it well.
It's really cool that it has multiplayer because otherwise that's a non-game for a lot of people. Like if you can't get a group of people together to play Gang Beasts, you're not playing Gang Beasts.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so at least it has the online stuff. You could get people together and voice chat.
and I'm glad to hear
with
it
your
sounds like it
friends.
works.
Yeah, I mean, I will tell you, I only played 2 matches.
Yeah.
and they both worked. So I can't really vouch for the netcode fully, but it can work. It absolutely can work.
I think I could lose Windjammers on this list. I think Windjammers is really fun. I like playing it sitting next to someone. From what I saw of some of the online stuff, it did seem like there was some sort of like weird sound issues.
There were definitely
and like weird
that's
shadowy,
true.
flickery
Yeah, some of the
stuff.
emulation gets strange.
Right,
with
and
some
it
of
doesn't. I don't know. It seems like from what you were saying, there doesn't seem to be a lot of people still playing it
Yep.
online.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to play it online
Right.
now. I wouldn't be surprised if Nidhogg 2 was in a similar state at the
yeah.
moment.
But I wouldn't discount any of that stuff that is just like better local, because like I think a
Yeah.
lot of those things I would rather play than play any of these or some of these other games online.
And because they have online, that means if you have one friend who wants to play Windjammers, you absolutely always can.
Right. I totally. I wouldn't discount it just because it doesn't have like the richest online
Yeah,
mode.
yeah.
But I also think Windjammers. I think there are more interesting multiplayer games than Windjammers on here. I think Windjammers is super fun. I liked
Yeah.
it, but I also walked away and didn't really think about it again.
You might be right.
It's also the same Windjammers we've been playing for
Ever.
a decade.
Yeah.
Isn't it missing BU?
It also is missing BU.
Yeah.
Like that's
DLC.
That is
that's a problem.
damn near unforgivable.
That's a problem.
S. Miller sucks.
Do you know why? Like what?
It was a region switch. So the original Neo Geo game also didn't have BU if you had the region set to
Okay,
like English or Europe or whatever it was.
but there's no reason they couldn't have toggled that for this. Right?
Hey, I don't
Right.
know why they didn't add that in. Like, why wouldn't you just have it be like a hold select?
Or I
and push
guess the bigger
anything?
question is why did that toggle exist in the first place? Like what was wrong with BU?
Yeah, I don't know. It's
probably some real dark
I think
reason
it was
you don't
like,
wanna know.
yeah, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. I suspect it was like, oh, for this region, we want to have a British character or an English speaker for these regions. So we just, without changing the sprite at all, renamed it and gave him a British flag instead of a Korean
I
flag.
see.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that Windjammers is a top 3 multiplayer game this year. I could see it going in the face of something, simply because like
That's wild.
I have had my time with Windjammers.
Yeah.
Believe you me.
I think we all have.
And it's an amazing game, and I'm glad that it exists for more people to enjoy.
One of the greats of all time,
Yeah.
I'll say, but maybe not of the year in
Sure.
in the scope of multiplayer releases.
Yeah, it's good. It's super fun, but so
Man,
are a lot of
This is
these.
crazy. I'm cutting Windjammers from this
I mean,
list.
I think
I'm not saying I don't want
Yeah.
to. I'm just surprised.
I mean, if this were maybe a best multiplayer of all time, maybe that would be a different story.
I guess I'm conflicted on the Splatoon thing because my argument against it is because they don't have the good online services like voice chat and things like that. Like, I think the actual game is a blast. And as far as multiplayer games that I've enjoyed the most this year, it's definitely in my top 3. I'm just frustrated that, like, if I wanted to get a group together or whatever, there's no real way to do the voice chat in a good way.
My thoughts
that's
on that are that's an issue with the Switch. That's not an issue with Splatoon.
That's true.
Like,
they
if you
could have
look-
built that stuff into
Yeah.
Splatoon.
But I mean, like, look at Battlegrounds. It's not that stuff innate to the game. It's on the system. It's on the it's on PCs. Like, it seems weird to do.
it does
like
have in-game chat
Yeah.
stuff,
Does
doesn't
it?
it? Yeah,
yeah,
it's-
yeah,
Oh,
proximity
okay.
chat
Yeah.
and stuff.
All right.
Just,
I don't
but
know.
no one uses it because no one
Right.
ever uses
Yeah.
like
Right.
a PC game's built-in stuff.
Right.
They're always using.
I think the bigger knock for me is that aside from the salmon run, which I do like, but I maybe didn't love as much as you did. But
I loved it.
I thought it was really good.
I think it's phenomenal.
it is the same multiplayer from
Yeah.
Splatoon 1. They have not
With the
really
same maps sometimes.
Yeah, and I like look. Those are good maps. They pick good ones to bring back for the except for fucking
Except
Moray
the
Towers.
towers.
Fuck that map.
I didn't realize
I
the
like
maps are
Moray
recycled.
Towers.
That's
Not
some
all of them.
Yeah,
Not
they
all of them.
improved on them too.
Yeah, they definitely changed some of the geometry of some. They're not just identical.
That's okay, but in a game called Splatoon 2, that's
Yeah.
It's also they're
pushing it a
constantly
little bit.
releasing more.
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah.
the
But-
weapons are good. Like
the weapons are very
I feel
good.
much better about
Yes.
the balance of that game than I
Yeah.
did about the first game, just because the options feel more interesting and all that stuff. I also feel like I'm a lot better at Splatoon 2 than I ever was at Splatoon 1 for whatever that's
Use
worth.
motion controls.
Fuck no.
You should.
That's the way you play
So
the
good.
other
How you
games.
play Splatoon.
You want to get
So
better.
good. I know.
No, I
Also,
don't. I don't want to get better that way.
Wasn't Splatfest rigged?
What?
No, what it was
No.
would be if a weird proportionate side was like way bigger than the other. Like if it was like ketchup versus mayo and everyone was in ketchup, they would have ketchup against ketchup sometimes. So those
okay.
teams just wouldn't even count
I see.
half the games they were playing because there were so many more people in this skewed thing.
Their Splatfests were weak, I'm going to say, compared to Splatoon 1. I thought
Yeah.
Splatoon 1 had better Splatfest themes.
So far, I have not cared about any of the Splatfest this time around.
I'm going to base my opinion of Splatoon 2 on what the next Splatfest is.
All right.
It's
boy.
What is
was
it?
it?
Sci-fi versus fantasy.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't
That's kinda
know.
fun.
It's
Why not
sci-fi.
I don't know. It's so fun. Splatoon 2 is so fun. I put so many hours into Splatoon 2.
Yeah, I think-
and I can appreciate some of the issues with sort of like, well, some of this was in the first game, but I also think not everybody played it on the Wii U. Like not very many
Yeah,
people
that's
had
that's
a Wii
very
U.
true. Man, I think
I had a Wii U,
fucking
I just didn't play it.
they need their feet need to be held to the fire on fucking up multiplayer options though. Like they've
Yeah,
had
and-
so many chances to get this right and they just
And just
can't.
straight up not allowing you to play one of the best mode whenever you want.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you can. You just can't do it online
Yes.
whenever
And
you want.
You can
Yeah.
do it locally.
Also, let's not forget that they built voice chat into the game and have it disabled.
Yeah.
Like you can hack around it weirdly
really?
to
True.
kind of
Yeah.
get it working.
It
but
works in like
people discovered it because like some tournament organizer
it
or
works in
something
like a tournament mode.
They like left their USB headset plugged in and like started a lobby and then realized they could hear each other over the microphones.
Oh.
And they were like, "Oh my god, this game actually has voice chat."
Wait, what?
And they don't
But
expose
only
it.
over LAN. I
Yeah,
think is
only
what
over
it is.
LAN. They don't expose it to the user, but the tech is in
Oh,
there.
like they built it maybe because like we were hoping to be an esport. And
no, it's because they want everybody to use their fucking phone app, which is garbage. Like it's.
Their phone
it's
app
I
is
will
so
say
good, but
I like competitive Splatoon 2 more than I like competitive Destiny by a whole lot.
Yeah.
I
But
Right,
Destiny
yeah, I
is
mean,
much
like-
more of a cooperative
That's not-
game
yeah,
than
that's not what it
competitive.
Yeah.
I don't
And
know.
What
I
if competitive Destiny 2 was about you painting stuff though?
Okay.
I played
probably be better.
Splatoon 1 for the better part of a year. I stopped playing Splatoon 2 about 2 months after it came out. And it's not because I
I'm
think
in
it's
a
a
similar
worse
boat.
game. I just don't think that the novelty holds as well when they haven't made any real radical shifts in how that game plays.
I don't need big shifts. I think it plays better on the Switch. I like playing it like in bed, you know. It's a good Switch game. It's a good TV console, or like whatever the little dock is game. I think it's a good multiplayer game. I played a ton of it. I think the only reason why I didn't play more of it was because I have this job and I have to play other games.
Right.
Like I think it's a really phenomenal game. And I do think there are some issues with like you can't do the salmon run all the time, but I think that's maybe designed so you play more of the other modes as well, which maybe not the best choice, but I don't know. I think it's so fun. I had so much fun at every aspect of the multiplayer modes.
Like
People tell
when
me
you
it's
were in the
fun.
game. When you're in the game playing with friends and everything, it's super fun. It's just like there's not a great way to keep a party together.
They've
or it's
changed
like,
that.
Well, I know you can change the weapons in between now. But
Yeah.
let's say you want to leave and you want to go do some shopping and stuff, and you don't want to have to worry about the ticking timer. You know,
Also, don't
before the
forget
next
you
round
can't
starts.
you can't quit out once you've queued up. You
Right.
have to like wait
Right.
for a
Right.
whole
Yeah.
queue.
It's
Like,
that
these
stuff.
are-
It's the quality of life stuff with multiplayer that
Which they
screwed
had
up, I think.
a full development cycle to
Yeah.
figure out, and they just chose not to with some of
Yeah.
that stuff.
I'm so
Yeah.
frustrated with Nintendo in general around that stuff.
Like, it's their best multiplayer game, and
Yeah.
they still found ways to kind of mess it up
This is
in
their-
some
yeah.
a few key ways.
Like, this is their third internet connected console, and they still can't even come close to getting this stuff right.
It's like not even. It's like
No,
that stuff's weird because it's not like they're weird like small technical things. They're not even like the design of like the shooting or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like not getting those things right just seems weird.
Yeah.
Because the core of the game isn't broken.
No.
It's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
well, some people tell me the core of the game isn't
I mean,
broken.
if anything, like the game deserves better.
Yeah.
Like, the game, the quality of the actual game experience deserves like
I
a
mean,
better feature set
yes,
that allows people
yes.
to play it more seamlessly.
I just find Splatoon kind of boring. Like I just think
That's how I ended up. Like the first game I fell off of, and I enjoyed it for a while. I was like, okay, I think I've had my fill. But this one, I don't know. This one turned me around.
I found the like
Splat Dualies.
I was just about.
Yeah.
I think Splat
Roll.
Dualies is really fun to say.
I think
Yeah,
that's
it
cool. Like, I think it's charming as hell, and I think all the aesthetic around it. I just found the like map rotation to be kind of monotonous and just kind of same. I found the early stuff, and this goes away, but the early stuff of locking up the weapons when you're playing against other people who have them all unlocked was frustrating. To be like, oh, all I have. What's the regular pea shooter one? Like the one you start with.
The default gun. I don't know.
Oh,
What
it's like it's something Junior, Splatshot Junior. I
Okay,
think.
Yeah.
whatever it is. Like, and just having that while you see like people with the paint rollers like rolling over you, and
miniguns.
just being like, "How do I get these?" And
You
you're
did
like,
it
"No, you
like
give
20 minutes of playing, I feel like.
It took me a while. I'm playing the
Okay.
same map over and
Sure.
over again, which is just like I don't like this map.
Yeah, I really don't like the way they do the 2 maps at a time thing. Like,
Yeah.
I understand in the first game it made sense when they only had like 5 maps at the outset, but like they never increased that total. They stuck to it this time with more maps at the outset, and like I just think that like it's unnecessarily limiting, and it just makes me not want to play that game for like long periods, which I would love to do because I do think it's fun. But it's like once I've seen the same, like I'm playing the same map 4 times in a row, and I'm just like, you know what?
Yep.
No.
I did like the single player.
Yeah,
the-
Yeah, it's a good single player
improved.
mode.
Yeah.
I mean,
I didn't like it.
Doesn't help
I don't
here,
know.
but
I love it, but if I'm totally outnumbered here, it is what it is. But I had much more fun playing that than any other game on this list. But that might just be a me thing.
No, we can
I
table it.
Really like Splatoon 2,
Yeah.
but
Where this
I
goes.
don't know that it ends up being top 3 with
Yeah.
some of this other
Okay.
stuff.
Okay, I'm going to put this out there. Should Nidhogg 2 stay on this list?
I just didn't play it, and
What if you did?
then maybe I would hate it. I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
there's always that
it's-
possibility. I
We should play some Nidhogg.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I do like Nidhogg 2, but
I like Nidhogg, but I don't know. My thing with Nidhogg is I feel like I have such a longer. I mean, granted, I didn't play a ton of it, but Nidhogg I feel like is a fun game for 15 minutes when you have friends over once every few months versus like some of these other games where you like sit down and play it for a long period of time and they feel like fuller, richer games, whereas Nidhogg is maybe like a flash sort of moment.
I think
Like,
that's.
I don't know.
What's
I
the-
played
Yeah,
it for
that's fine.
hours at a time. I
Okay.
personally like. I mean, this is a personal thing, but like, I think Nidhogg 2. I think Nidhogg is such a fucking well designed game.
Yeah.
Like,
It's so accessible
it's-
from the outset. Like anybody can kind of just like sit down, figure out how to
But
play.
then there's,
like-
there's,
and
depth,
there's like-
there's depth
and
to it.
still
as
be
you-
competitive.
Nidhogg 2 adds a layer of depth with
Yeah.
not only it's a different weapons, but it's a set rotation, so you know like what your next weapon's going to be. You know what their next weapon's going to be.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can kind of plan
So
around.
plan that-
And,
like-
and weapons counter each other and counter
Yeah.
different moves. Like the broadsword counters
Yeah,
the jump kick. You know,
right.
like it's a more
it
of a back
forces
and
you
forth.
to change up your style
Yeah.
and put you in circumstances you wouldn't normally. Like I initially hated the bow. I thought it was just like
Yeah.
completely stupid. But then
And
when
then
I
I
realized back up a little bit
Yep.
and then shoot when you spawn with it, right? There's like a meta to it of you know,
or like draw it back and then you can jump while you
Yeah.
have it drawn.
Yeah.
And shoot in the air and like there's just.
I think that's the
stuff.
stuff that put me off on it initially because I think in Nidhogg 1 there wasn't any of that. It's
Yeah.
like you had like high, medium, low for parry stuff, and like everybody just had a pay or whatever. Like that was it.
I played a lot more Nidhogg 2 than I did 1. And it's because of I think of
Yeah,
that depth.
I think I did too.
But again,
I
you can-
was playing online against strangers.
You can
don't
talk-
have
You
anybody
can still
to
turn
play
it
with.
back
right.
into Nidhogg 1 if you want to.
Man, it's like I like this stuff.
I would cut Gang Beasts before I cut Nidhogg.
Yeah, I would.
I agree.
Yeah, same here.
I agree, which sounds crazy, but
I mean, I just, I think I have more affection for Gang Beasts just because of how long that game has been around and just the cycles it's gone through. And just, I think the core of that game is hilarious. Yeah.
well, it's really unfortunate because when did they announce it's going final? Like
December 12th.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. When
Oh,
did they make
yeah,
that
yeah,
announcement?
yeah.
Was it
Very
yesterday?
recently.
A couple days ago.
Like none of, I think Jeff's the only one that's even played the final version.
It's not even final
Or-
at this point. It's still
close to-
closed.
I've
Yeah.
I played
so,
Nidhogg
like-
before I left here because I played with my kids like it.
Right.
I played what
but
they were
I'm-
calling the final version.
But yeah, the last time I played Gang
Right.
Beasts was probably like 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah, like I haven't played it in at least a year,
And
so
it's-
like it's weird coming in here going like, oh shit, we have to consider Gang Beasts.
Yeah.
for this,
Well,
and, like I barely.
the interesting
remember
thing
it.
is like some of the stuff last time we streamed it that they changed around. Like now there's a headbutt and a kick and some of this other stuff. I don't like.
I'm interested in checking it out.
yeah.
Like now, like,
Yeah, I would like-
I'll be
fleshes-
honest. I didn't like OG Gang Beasts.
So this
I
fleshes
loved
out
it.
the moveset in a way that you might appreciate
That's what I'm
more because
hoping,
it kind
yeah.
of gives you more options and stuff like that.
Yeah, I want a little more
But
control, a
it's-
little
it's
less
a little-
loosey goosey. Like
Yeah, I think it loses
Play around with something.
you know where I
Like,
think I
in
totally
terms of
see where
like
you're coming from.
good time couch weird party.
Yeah.
It becomes a little more serious, which is probably
we
good
should
for
rename
it.
this category.
Yeah, it's like good long term. Like you want that game to feel like balanced and to feel like there are things to do in every situation. Like when last time I played online, I picked up a guy and hoisted him above my head, getting ready to throw him out. He woke up and kicked me in the head, and knocked
Oh,
me
no.
out.
No,
because
thank
you
you.
can kick now, and I'm like,
No.
oh shit, that fucking changes everything. And that's like it's a better, more well-rounded system that I think I like slightly less.
I think it feels less drunk. It feels like everybody's
yeah, fuck that.
It feels a little
like
less
playing online, I was playing as people who knew exactly what the fuck they were doing.
Yeah, the tournament, like I was watching there was like a huge. Well, so how it ran at David the Devs was you could go up and 4 at a time. They would just run a game, and if you won, you got a little belt. And then at the end, whoever had a belt could come enter the tournament. And so the tournament started out, and there was a lot of people who were like just guys who were better than the 3 other people who they were playing against at the time, but still not like great. And those were really fun to watch because everyone's kind of goofing around. But then when it got to like top 18, top 24 or something, it just looked like a really slow-paced fighting game.
Yeah.
And it was just weird to watch. And that's a weird circumstance, but it like broke the game for me in a way where I'm just watching it being like,
It was like I don't want to take this game this seriously.
No.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't feel like it's ruinous necessarily, but it is different.
yeah.
I loved that even when we played hours and hours of that game, like every match was still this like scrappy mess. You know,
Yeah,
like,
it's like
you
a
were still
drunken
kind
bar
of fighting
fight.
the
Yeah.
controls the whole time, and it was like a little bit too chaotic. But that's what made it fun.
And there was like stamina that was added in for like hanging on the stuff, and like that was probably necessary.
Oh, that's right.
And like you know there were weird changes, but I am actually really curious to see what this final version is.
Yeah, I would like to play it a lot too, but
I don't know.
But is it the best multiplayer of 2017? Like,
No,
I think probably
I don't
not.
think so.
all right.
Yeah,
It's a cool thing that I'm glad to see finally coming to final fruition, but yeah.
Did we definitely cut Splatoon? I felt like we were gonna
I thought we did.
think about it.
I thought we
We
did too.
did, unfortunately.
Oh, we did. Okay.
Okay, I thought we did.
I love it dearly, and
Okay.
I would play it every day.
very good.
It's very good.
It's very
It's
good.
very good, and I don't care about any of the other stuff 'cause it's very good. And like I don't, it's very good. It should be on here, but that's fine.
I'm sorry,
Very
what
good
is it?
multiplayer
It's
of the
very
year.
good.
It's very good.
I'd say best multiplayer, but that's just me.
I might say it's very good.
It's very good.
And among the 5 best multiplayer.
yeah. It's top 5, definitely.
I don't know anything about Tekken 7. I know Tekken. But
Then
not
you
7.
know Tekken 7.
Yeah, that's the thing.
This is true of all Tekken
It sounds
games,
really cool.
but one of the coolest things about it is probably the best fighting game to jump people into who don't really know anything about fighting games, because so you're like, okay, you got 4 buttons and they each control a limb, hit them, and you can just jump
Press some
somebody,
direction to see what
Yeah.
happens.
and you can have fun at all levels with the game. I'm conflicted on this because that's Tekken. That's been Tekken for 20 years, but
Yeah, but I think like
it's a hell of a
this is a
Tekken.
hell of a Tekken game. Like they put in Akuma and made it work.
Yeah,
And you know they're making
Keith
they're
Howard,
making good on their guest character
Noctis.
stuff. Yeah, and
there's a hairstyle for Paul that makes his hair even bigger.
Finally.
they've had that before.
I forgot about the costumes.
Not to this level.
Yeah, the costumes are ridiculous.
Is that
Bullet Club t-shirts.
Yeah.
Is that the entire concept behind that hair? It's just taller.
Yes.
That's great.
I fucking have to see that.
The costume stuff is pretty cool.
That's amazing.
And like being able to unlock all the old cutscenes.
Oh, a lot of
Yeah, I
costume,
love that.
working gun.
Yeah.
They give you a lot of costume options.
Like, look at
options
that
you can
fucking
actually
hair.
use. in a match.
Wow.
Look at that hair.
Fuck. fuck, man.
You can give him more hair, more taller.
It's a really good Tekken game.
That's a fucking baguette he's got on his head.
Hell yeah, it is.
Is that real or some? I don't feel like
You
I'm
can
not
make his hair tall in that game.
That's amazing.
That is so good.
That is
You
some
can fit a
long
toddler in
hair.
That's like 3 kids from Kid and Play.
Yeah.
3 kids tall.
Something very likable about Tekken. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
It's
just
just
It's
goofy
a great
as hell.
cast of
It
characters.
knows what it is.
And
Yeah.
Tekken
And it plays
7,
well.
I think, puts a lot of the best characters in there.
Yeah.
I think some of the new characters are all right. They're like good, solid additions. Like I said, they added super moves to this game. The rage arts,
the
and stuff.
rage art is
Like a really good comeback mechanic. Like it's fun. It's easy.
It looks awesome.
The moves look really good.
Yep.
It's a great looking game.
Like that was the thing I enjoyed watching most at Evo this year by far.
Yeah. I would put Tekken on this list.
I would also
That it totally
good.
rocks. Yeah.
I think to me it's probably Battlegrounds, Tekken, and Nidhogg.
That sounds like a good 3.
And it's not
No
that
Destiny?
Yeah, I agree.
I would take Destiny over Nidhogg personally, but
I would take Destiny over Nidhogg just because I haven't played Nidhogg, and I played a ton of Destiny.
I'm not
I know.
anti-Destiny on this list. Like, if people feel strongly about it, I'm totally fine with it. I'm just those are where my preferences lie.
I feel like you have to look at the whole when it comes to Destiny multiplayer, and you have to look at how the competitive multiplayer sucks.
I like the competitive multiplayer.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
I really like it. I play a lot of it, and I think it's good.
It's just the thing of
It's
like
not
very
very
good.
good to me.
it's not deep enough for
I mean,
me.
it's-
It's just like it's what Jeff was talking about, where if 2 people walk up on each other, whoever gets the first shot just wins. And I mean that's
That's kind of every shooter.
Yeah,
not
console
really,
right
because
now.
even,
Drop on
even,
phone.
even like
Alternative.
Call of Duty is more about like moving around and posturing and like
like the
Titanfall and stuff.
movement
It's like,
speed in Destiny is so slow that the opportunities for you to get away are far less than in faster paced games. Which is why those situations can be so frustrating.
Also,
because it's like I'm getting shot and it's like, oh, I move like fucking molasses. This
also,
is
I
not
want
fun.
you guys to remember when we were doing the raid and Alex kept disconnecting.
that was annoying.
Well, I don't think that was an
seemed
issue
like
with
that was
my
Destiny.
internet.
I think
That was
that
my
No, but you were
was,
saying the second time we did it when we were trying to beat the boss, you were saying I haven't had internet problems all day, and we were reading online that other people were having random disconnects and spawning outside of the
that's
room
right.
and not being able to go back in.
If we're going to hold
I don't
server
know.
instability
Yeah.
against this, like we can't have this category. Because
Yeah.
Why not?
Every
These
game,
other games don't.
every game
well,
has
fuck
server
PUBG
problems.
if that's the case. Like,
Occasionally, but if it's a
But like
It will
PUBG
not
doesn't
be an issue.
ruin your raid that you put.
I would also say that like
25 hours into.
90% of the PUBG matches I've played since that game came out have generally been stable with
Yeah.
like only even minimal amounts of lag.
But I played a lot of hours of Destiny 2 and have never
I
had
have
a
Yeah.
no
disconnect.
I
issue.
put like
that was-
70 hours in. That was the only
I
thing
have
I saw.
had twice in Destiny 2 finished the campaign story with other people and had it lock up on a black screen.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and where you just have to disconnect and reload and hope you get the cutscene or something afterward. And that happened 2 times, which really sucked because you're just sitting there waiting on an infinite load, and that really did suck. But that being said, like I don't know, Destiny 2, having not played a lot of Destiny 1 with a lot of people, I had fun. with Destiny 2.
I played most of Destiny 2 alone because I think that's a better solo game.
Yeah.
For a lot of those things, the strikes obviously are multiplayer. Like the multiplayer elements of the game are obviously multiplayer elements, but I still probably would rather play at least the stories type content in that game alone.
Also, like once you do all the stuff there is to do in Destiny 2 multiplayer,
That's fair.
All that's left is the competitive.
Yep.
With
or like
Nidhogg.
running strikes. Or
Yeah,
I mean,
or-
there's a lot before you get to that point.
Right.
Though,
There
you
is,
know?
there is.
Yeah.
There totally is.
Yeah.
But it
I would-
has a limit.
I think a really good multiplayer also doesn't have that barrier in it, where like you feel like you can keep coming back to this in the experience. Like something like Battlegrounds, I feel like you do get a different experience a lot of the time.
Totally.
For me at least,
I
or
think-
Tekken will give.
I mean,
you
it does have that in the Crucible. It's just that most half this room doesn't like Crucible,
Right.
But
I
it does.
think,
But it does
the
have
Crucible is there. That is the thing that is like you can come back to this
and
forever.
just get better and better.
Yeah, and I will say, as someone who plays strikes again and again and again, I still enjoy them. I still think they're fun. And I will say the amount of multiplayer content and single player content in Destiny 2 are so much that even when you kind of reach the bottom of the barrel, you've played a full game and more content is coming out.
Yeah, we're not saying it's threadbare. It's definitely not,
No.
especially compared to Destiny 1.
I think for me more of and I think it should be on this list, but I think for me more Destiny 2 with the content stuff is the time investment for like a strike or something like that is pretty substantial, and getting a party together versus some of this other stuff, which is, I guess, Battlegrounds can be fairly long matches too.
Yeah, Battlegrounds is pretty long. I mean, I like a good long
Strike is like 20 minutes, 20, 25
Strike's
maybe.
not that bad.
If you do it,
you can match
yeah,
with.
if you do it.
Also, like
shot.
I gotta give them props for the new Nightfalls. Like those are
Yeah,
some
they're
of
fun.
the
That's
most
true.
fun
The
I have
Nightfalls are
had.
good.
Like those
Stuff is-
Nightfalls
yeah,
are
that stuff is-
fucking
that's way better than the first
Really
game.
challenging and varied.
I do like the one where you
interesting.
get the. I've had a couple of times where you got like almost infinite recharge or really fast recharge on upgrades.
Actually,
I wish that whole game were like that.
I should say some of those Nightfall mechanics are definitely more fun than others.
I didn't like finding the data.
Shooting the anomalies is not my favorite,
No.
but
I could see Destiny over Nidhogg. I personally wouldn't choose that, but
Sure.
that's fine.
I would be okay with that.
is Tekken a lock?
I think
I
so.
think so.
Man,
Unless we want to fight.
Oh, you want to go out there and
Tekken 7 is a
I'll load that shit
multiplayer
up
fighting
right
game
now.
that
Beast versus Akuma? Let's do it.
I have enjoyed playing all year, and I hate playing multiplayer. Like, I don't like playing online fighting games at all because I suck at them, but I have continued to try to get better at Tekken throughout the year, and with mixed results. But nonetheless, I've enjoyed myself.
Yeah, Tekken seems to, like, it kind of broke back into, like, mainstream. I think I said it before, like, like Alex is playing it, all of a sudden. And there's so many people on my timeline that are, like, playing it that don't traditionally play fighting games. That
I've never been a Tekken guy. Like, I've enjoyed them a little bit in arcades. I'd mash my way through, but, like, I was always a 2D fighter. Like, I did not fuck with 3D fighters at all, but Tekken 7 was
It's great.
really good.
Yeah, and I'm not just saying like anecdotally, a lot of people on my timeline are playing, but like the changes that they've made. We talked about rage arts, we talked about accessibility stuff. We talked about the slow-mo. They've made some really small, like subtle, but very, very smart changes to get it back into fighting shape.
Yeah.
Tekken's
nice.
back.
I like that.
Yeah.
So no
Fighting
Nidhogg?
shape. I would be okay
Yeah.
getting
I'm
it.
okay with
man,
I think
what?
it's very good, but
Nidhogg 2 is
think I
great.
would
Nidhogg
almost-
2 is very good.
I would almost-
It's a lot like Splatoon 2.
I'd say Splatoon
I would say
2
it's
is
in the
better.
top
It's
four.
not-
It is very,
Splatoon
very
2
good,
is the
maybe.
best multiplayer of 2017, but Nidhogg 2 is very good.
I would almost lose Destiny over Nidhogg.
Wow.
I definitely would too.
Where were you when I was trying to make that argument 5 minutes ago,
Dude, I
Brad?
think I would. The PUBG, Destiny, and Nidhogg is my list. So I don't know.
Oh, well,
I'm gonna be so sad when Destiny 2 is gone because PUBG I don't like. I don't like PUBG.
here's the thing. PUBG is not going to be in my top 10. My best multiplayer game of 2017 is PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
I've
Yeah,
had
like that's-
so much fun in the limited amounts of times I played it, just playing with you guys, and even like solo games are multiplayer in a sense because you're just like,
Well, he is because you're
but like
that wasn't AI the whole time.
yeah. But I mean in a way of like in other games when you're when you're playing Call of Duty free for all or something, it doesn't necessarily feel like there are 15 other dudes there. It just feels like there's a bunch of enemies I gotta kill. In PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, it felt like there were 99 other humans.
It's a mind game.
Yeah.
Sure,
And
but
it feels like when you get kills in that game, it really
the best.
feels like
It's the most rewarding
You are
thing.
sending people back to the fucking title screen.
Yes.
You were like,
You were sending them to hell.
congratulations on wasting your time, fucker.
You kill someone in Call of Duty and you know they're hitting X and they're right back in. But
Yeah,
they're
I
pissed
don't,
off.
I
when
don't
you kill
normally
them.
like
Fuck
no
you.
respawn games and round-based games and stuff like that, but this one takes it to such an extreme compared to most of the more mainstream shooters that I've enjoyed over the years that it's fucking
I just feel
awesome.
like the opportunities for finding people to kill are so few and far in between when you're playing a round. Like I will play a 20-minute round, loot for most of it. Someone will sneak up on me and then I'm dead. And then it's like, well, I wasted my time and I don't feel like I can get better
You weren't
because I
spicy
never
enough.
see people.
Yeah, you gotta
Dude,
be
I love
spicy.
getting spicy. I am queen of spice. I like the
I
spice.
cannot. I cannot.
Okay?
You control
I like
your
it
level of
spicy.
spice.
I cannot disagree that the spice flows through Abby.
Yes.
I like the spice.
I think. I agree. Like there, but for me, that's like a plus.
I think
in
that's
that
the game.
Yeah.
That's what makes it
It's
different.
the tension and like the.
Yes.
I feel like
It's like a fucking horror movie.
I
it
feel
really is.
every kill.
I guess for me the tension is boring. I don't.
Boring?
I think it's boring, and I think the fun I had with it, and I definitely did have a lot of fun. I think it creates a lot of avenues for that fun. But the fun I had was hanging out with my friends. It was not playing this game.
But
it
that's-
was
For me, that was like
That's-
Destiny.
But I think the game facilitates the wacky hijinks.
sure, totally.
And that's the thing is that
But-
like that's the fascinating thing for me is that the solo game is so much about the tension and just like the fucking like you said those every kill sort of meaning something. But you also have that duo and that squad element, which like you can take that super seriously, or it's a great way to just fuck around with people that you know and get up to dumb shit.
I remember when I drove in that tunnel.
The investment honestly often isn't that much, because if you're just fucking around, then you don't necessarily get too deep into those matches.
I have to say, the rare moments when we have like strategized in a squad and like really planned things out and executed and it worked was like that game
Deeply
was on a
satisfying.
level that most multiplayer games are like.
Honestly,
in a
talking about this-
serious tactical sense.
Talking about this right now, unlike any of these other games, makes me want to go play it.
Yeah.
Same here,
There's,
100%.
there's like a risk reward in Battlegrounds that I don't usually play competitive multiplayer games because
Me either.
I'm terrible at them, and like B, you have to put so much time in it to get good.
Yes.
And I feel like with Battlegrounds, there was some weird thing, and I'm not going to call it realism, but like the speed at which you can sneak up on a guy and take him down felt like it let me play a style of game that made me be competitive in it, whether that's hiding in a bathroom or
Right, like that feels really cheap to me that someone can win by literally sitting in a bathtub.
I think that's
I think it's
amazing.
super
walking away
interesting.
from
I
their
think that is-
computer.
The key
I think
thing,
it's- I
That's
think
the thing
you
that
can't do
happened.
But the key
that.
thing with that,
I think outside of the
that,
circle.
They got lucky and they were in the circle.
But that's the thing, is that the key thing with that is that that's not a universal strategy.
Sure.
That can backfire on you so many
Oh, yeah.
different
Okay, that's
ways that I think that, it's like if you're really good at that strategy, you can employ it as much as you want, but there will always be some guy who spotted you through a door or recognized there was something there, and you lose.
Yeah. I mean, I'm clearly the minority on this, and that's fine. I wanted to say my piece,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I had fun playing this game, but I think it was more because I feel like every time I played this game, I was ready to be done playing.
I can identify with that.
There were some times when
Definitely,
we were playing,
definitely like had your fill of that game.
when we were playing as a
squad.
squad, that I was like, man, I really don't want to play this with
Yeah.
people ever again.
How many of those times were just when Dan was off looting somewhere?
I was
trying to get fun stuff to give to you guys. No,
It
you
was
weren't.
rarely-
No, you were not.
It was not because of Dan.
All right,
I
all right.
assure you.
I like playing that game.
Thunder and
alone.
lightning.
I like playing that game alone. I really like playing that game alone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do too.
me too.
Because I like it every way.
It's such a more tense thing when you're just like, all right, I have to watch my own back. I'm not talking to anyone. I'm just.
I think they're all different.
I'm
Yeah, it is
crawling-
different.
and now I'm crawling through this window to smoke somebody. Like that stuff.
Feels
There's-
really cool.
I've had fun with it, but okay. Number one.
Well, even the person least into this game seems like they had fun with it, so I feel like that's the winner.
I mean, it's no Splatoon 2, but
That's a very good game.
It is.
It is a very
is,
good
yeah.
game. It's
Very
maybe
good.
the top
I've
one of the
heard
top 5 multiplayer games of 2017.
So wait, are we taking Nidhogg 2 off of this list?
Man, really?
I think
That
that's
sounds
where
so
we.
weird,
so-
but
I think that's where we came to. Yeah,
It's in the top 4 multiplayer
Yeah.
games of 2017.
it's very good.
What if it was in the top
it's
3?
very good.
Vinny, let's go play some Nidhogg.
I definitely will go play Nidhogg. Like I have
You'd only
no
played
problem
some
playing
Nidhogg.
Nidhogg for sure.
Brad, if you want to help me get Destiny off this list.
I've played so much more of the other 3 games on this list, and I mean, I would
Hey,
maybe-
remember when we did that raid?
Yeah,
I-
I play a lot
Oh
of that
yeah,
game.
we should take Destiny off.
Yeah,
this
Destiny
list.
should go. Destiny should definitely go.
Right.
There were aspects of the raid that weren't fun, but I had a lot of fun doing it. I think
Yeah.
the parts that weren't fun for me were the fact that I could not take a break. Like, I think if I could step away from a couple hours and come back, I would
Yeah.
enjoy it a lot more.
So you're saying if you could hide in a bathroom and step away from the computer and win, then it might have been a better game.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Like, I enjoyed the raid. I enjoyed solving the puzzles.
I think any game you're forced to play is pretty rough.
Yeah.
I enjoyed my time with Destiny
Yeah.
2 a lot, and I just didn't get into Destiny 1 kind of at all. But again, I enjoyed the hell out of Nidhogg. But actually, I did play some Nidhogg too, and just I don't know, there was something I probably didn't give it long enough to get that curve up of like, oh, these differences here, I need to learn these, otherwise I'm not competitive at it. Whereas like that just wasn't in Nidhogg 1.
Right.
Like you didn't have different weapons.
It's a fairly different thing.
Yeah, I mean, boomerang swords is
You can still turn that on.
that's great.
Spine swords, boomerang swords.
Spine bow or boomerang arrows.
No, it's always just spine sword.
Well, I mean, like, can you shoot the arrow and have it come back?
I don't think you can do boomerang arrows.
This sounds like a game with a lot of variety. Sounds like it has a lot to offer.
Are you talking about Destiny 2?
Absolutely not.
Fine.
What are you letting go of?
Nidhogg.
All right.
We did it.
Okay.
Whoa. That sucks.
Hey,
Yeah.
look,
It's a very good game,
we
but
can't pick them all.
No.
Those guys look like Homer Simpson.
Yeah. Kind of in a weird way, yeah.
But like first season Homer Simpson.
Yeah, like Tracy Ullman, Homer
Yeah.
Simpson.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
God.
I wish they had called it Super Nidhogg.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
because it looks like a SNES
You
game. It
want
looks like a
Nidhogg
weird. It looks like a
64?
weird mutant SNES game.
Yeah, but then you would get Nidhogg 64 and it would be terrible.
It's gonna be 3D and it's gonna be a mess.
and like nobody will know how to do it.
That would be bad.
I like the Nintendo 64.
It was great.
I think PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is a very fun multiplayer experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's really
Like
simple.
even when we were having terrible times, I feel like I was still having a good
Oh,
time.
I was
Yeah.
not.
Like when
I
you-
was ready to be done.
There were
Like-
1 or 2 times there when we were doing those shows that I was just like, I don't know if I can do anymore.
No, like when you and I were jumping on the roof like 40 times in a row,
Yeah, no,
doing that stuff. That was fun.
Yeah, but I would say more often than not, that game bored me. I
Oh,
felt
really?
very bored by that game. Yeah. That said, I think it deserves number 1. I just think there are a lot of issues I had with that game.
That game made me realize that I have a malicious killer instinct that I did not realize existed within me.
You shot that guy in the face.
I sure did shoot that guy in the face. I sure did fucking set a lot of traps for people with health kits that I sprang to cackling glee.
Yeah.
I pinned Vinny against the wall.
Remember that day in the shack?
Yeah.
Yes, I shot that guy.
Remember that day you guys were stuck in the shack?
Yes, the murder shack that we lived
Oh,
in.
yeah, that was good.
That game's great.
I would really like to play that game.
Yeah, me too.
Honk the horn.
It's a shame you
Yeah,
can't.
the horn's fun.
Shame you can't play it anymore.
Yeah.
That's a good ass game.
Too bad they shut it down.
All right. Well, so does that seal it?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that is good for
Happy
there.
with
Yeah.
that.
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, best multiplayer game.
Yeah,
of the year.
That's fair.
Destiny 2, Tekken 7. No, 2.
Don't forget Splatoon. But okay.
I'm sorry. What? I'm not familiar.
It's a very,
very
good
good
game.
game,
Yeah.
It is.
That'll be on the Game of the Year box art for it. Splatoon 2. A very good game.
That's right.
Should we move on to our next one?
Yeah.
Okay.
How you guys feeling about getting messy?
Oh, boy.
I done been messy.
Okay.
I
'cause
live for messy.
It's time.
Okay, I gotta go to the bathroom. before
Okay,
we
all
go.
right. Let's take a break and then we'll talk about a mess.
All right. Go make a mess.